Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
She has so much knowledge and information to really move your life forward, make those changes. I'm going to share something with you that she just told me seconds ago, and I didn't even realize it would make a difference in my life, probably your life. And this is one of the little nuggets of information that we're going to get with today, opening up to help and your health, to make you those little things that can add up to make you a healthier and better person physically and also mentally. She's an amazing psychologist, and she's back with us with an amazing book, which we're going to talk about. Dr. Ann Creekmore is on the program. Welcome back, Ann. How are you?
Good. How are you, Steve?
I'm well. And I'm going to share, and this is just a random thing, but last time we got together, I mentioned that I have minor skin cancer, been dealing with it for years. A little piece pops up here, you take care of it. It's all from damage and genetics. I figured that part out. But you told me that eating almonds can help keep cancer, some of them, at bay. Even just, a handful of almonds every day. And I love almonds. Sometimes I forget to have them. I would even say I have at least one small package, like a single serving package, in my go-to cabinet in my studio office here. I forgot about them, but anything that and by the way, they're good for you in general, but I never knew that they're connected to cancer. Tell me a little bit more about that, and then we'll get to the rest of what we're going to talk about today.
Well, first of all, thank you for not minding that I was kind of mother henning you and brought that up. You're so good. When you had said that, that you've been having that, I wanted to mention it to you because there's a lot of holistic health kind of things that can really help people. And they don't realize that just changing certain things about what they eat or what they do in their life can really make the difference in health. And the thing about the almonds is that I don't think you have to have that many almonds. I think maybe 2 a day is what I've heard. There's actually a book about, all the different foods that are excellent, for it. And it doesn't mean that you will never get cancer. I know you like almonds and everything, so that you've had almonds, but it's more like it won't really impact on you. It's a way that it will help you, so you just won't have any real bad repercussions from getting something. So, and you don't have to have that many of them, just maybe 2 a day even, because nuts are wonderful, but they are fattening too. So, it's not like, oh, wow, great, let me get an entire bag and eat almonds. Wow, that'll backfire in another area. So,
100% right. And that's why I'm always careful not overdoing those, even the, 100-calorie pack. Which, how many almonds is in that pack? I'd probably say, maybe 10. I don't even know.
Yeah.
But something like that. But again, it's good for you. It's good fat. It's not, too much fat unless you overdo it. And the thing with me eating those things different, like cashews and things like that, love them. When you get that big container, I even get the no salt ones to take it another step further. But when you take the cap off of like the 1 pound, 2 pound, it's so easy just to and now you've kind of gone the other way and had too much. So but thank you for that. I will.
Sure.
It can't hurt. Why not?
Absolutely, it's not going to hurt, and especially if you like it. But it supposedly is one of the foods. I know there was a bestseller book out about the different foods that can help for all kinds of things. I had an integrative a physician rather, and I work with the integrative psychiatrist as well. So we know kind of the supplements, vitamins, and different things that can help for mental. And then she was an integrative physician helping with the nutrition, supplements, exercise, stress management techniques that help with the physical health. So I've had a lot of networking with people that have, how to help people that way.
Yeah, you're not just making this stuff up. This comes from experience, research, relationships.
Said it.
Yes. So your book, once again, tell us everybody the title of your book.
It's Love Yourself, Love Your Life. And it's in my maiden name, A.P. Filosa. The initials my name. Filosa, F as in Frank, I, L as in Lou, O, S as in Sam, A. And and then, my practice name is Creekmore, but I got divorced and then I went back to kind of using my maiden name for my books. I kept my name because my kids might not have known who they were at school, right? So practice, and the insurance companies wouldn't have known who I was either. So I'm still out of practicing, but my books are all under Filosa.
Gotcha. And in this book, what is this? I think this might be chapter 4.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
And this is all about essentially those little tips. And the tip that you gave me about the almonds, that wasn't even planned. You just threw that in there because I had mentioned something about cancer in the past. But opening up to getting help and helping ourselves, what are some other things that we can do to really benefit each and every one of us?
Yes. Well, I guess it would be like a mind, body, soul, a mind, body, spirit approach, trying to put yourself on the calendar, make an appointment with yourself to take care of yourself. Like physically, if you have something going on, for you to check it out and see what, you can do to help and make sure you do it. Exercise at least 3 times a week, doing something that's your passion, something that you enjoy. Then that if you do about 45 minutes 3 times a week, supposedly increases your serotonin level. That's your positive mood neurotransmitter. So it's very good for depression, reducing depression and anxiety. It also increases your endorphins, which are your natural painkillers. So that helps you feel better. And then also there is a neurotransmitter that gets released when you exercise. It only lasts like 24 hours, but it increases your metabolism. So that if you can get exercise every day, you're also keeping, weight. It's a way of keeping your weight down, keeping your metabolic rate up. So movement, finding something that you can express yourself in and get movement is very helpful, for one. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go there. Let's talk about the exercise. And it's not about me, but use me as an example because I think I struggled with many of the things that the rest of us do.
Thank you.
A year and a half or so ago, I committed to working out, was eating better, was in the best shape of my life in like 25 years at least, and kind of derailed. Life got in the way, got a little lazy, still was working out, but it was just like, eating and just drinking things. And just like, I gained like 18 pounds. I want to get back to the gym and I know it's important and it does make a difference. But like today, perfect example, had some things going on this morning, but I woke up with enough time to make it there. And I'm like, I really could take care of this. And I just like put it off to the side. How do you get in the mindset of going? And again, I know it's good for me and I like it. I like going, but pushing to that extra step. Is it just, you got to keep doing it so it just becomes a habit and then it's automatic?
Yes, I think so. I think that's definitely one way to do it because it's very easy to get sidetracked with everything we're going to take care of in life. And so that's why I mentioned too, that you can just kind of put it on your calendar as kind of an appointment you actually have. You put your appointments on the calendar, put that appointment that you've got on there that you're going to, at least go 3 or 4 times a week and kind of go with your flow. Like, when does it feel good for you to go to the gym? They have found that getting exercise in the morning is actually better than in the evening. So I'm not saying that's all the time that a person has is to go in the afternoon and evening, that you shouldn't go. Definitely go. It's still good. But apparently the fitness that you're able to obtain and so on is better in the morning. Maybe that's just because we've been resting and, kind of cleansed and we're in a different place. But and also there are things you can do that I do hypnosis, right? And that's not like the Manchurian candidate. We're not doing torture or anything, getting controlling people. Hypnosis is a is putting yourself voluntarily into meditation, basically. And what I do is just talk to, facilitate an induction or facilitate them going into the meditation by saying, follow your breath and breathe in the good energy, breathing out the cares, breathing out the concerns or negativities. And then when you're kind of in that relaxed state in your body, then you go to a happy, calm water scene in your mind. And then when you're in that relaxed state, you can then the hypnotist gives you the positive affirmations or positive suggestions to help you do what you want to do. You've decided to get a little cheat sheet before that, where I do, that's what I call my cheat sheet, like, oh, okay, for some anxiety, or, for getting exercise, for not procrastinating, or, whatever it is the person wants, not smoking. And then, so that's something you can do. That's always something available to just kind of get a little 4 to 6 little sessions to get your mind. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, with hypnotherapy, I just had a session Saturday. This is and I was booked before we knew each other. It was virtual.
Right.
So I totally agree with you that can, whatever's standing in the way, like, and you do hypnotherapy, so if you feel that something is blocking you, like, I know I should be doing this, but I'm not. I can't figure out why I can't. Hypnotherapy could be the answer. And many times, if you're open to it, isn't it like one session could get it done for you?
Yeah, it's possible. It's recommended, I believe, to do maybe 4 to 6 sessions, like weekly, to kind of boost it, because you can do 4 or 5. I throw sleep in as the 5th for everybody, going to get good sleep at night, because everyone needs that. But do 4 things, and maybe some of them lasted, like the person doesn't want to smoke for 4 days, but it starts to creep back up, so it's good to do a booster, like for a few, 3 or 4 more times after that, or maybe 1 or 3 of them clicked in of the areas, but one didn't quite click in. So it's good to do it more than once, but it's always good to talk to the person doing your hypnosis and let them know, because you can, like, say things all clicked in, but you wanted to add exercise, for example, in your case, and you wanted to go back, and whatever you did clicked in fine. They said, oh, I just found out you could get me not to procrastinate about exercise. Could you throw that in today with whatever the other stuff is, that you're working on? So sometimes you can add a little something too, as you go along. So it's good to do a little series of it.
Sure. And I'm not saying that it can be done in one. I've heard that everything.
No, people can just stop, and especially for anxiety and depression, because you're basically renewing your mind. When you're in that relaxed state, your conscious mind isn't arguing like, well, I can't do that, I can't relax. You relax and you absorb it, and you're able to do it. And before I forget, you brought up a good point, that hypnosis, because there are a couple types of hypnosis. First one is giving suggestions, and the other is regression, where you would, instead of just relaxing and getting, my clients will say, their joy bubble on, relaxing, you do regression, which is you kind of ask them to go back to a point where that the origin maybe of whatever problems they're having now began, and do some healing work. And they kind of talk a little bit. That in the other hypnosis, you don't talk, you're just relaxing, taking it in, and and hearing the positive suggestions and renewing your mind, that you're able to do all those things. And then in regression, you're kind of sharing what you're seeing. And then I usually do some healing work to kind of change that original scenario that kind of led to the problem, to see it being healed. It's one way of healing wounds of the past, to do regression type therapy.
I want to back that up. And I thought that most hypnotherapy is about regression, going back to the first time. So,
yeah, right. No, this definitely,
it is amazing when you get in that hypnotic state. And again, for everyone that is afraid that you're not in control, somebody else can control your mind and all that stuff, completely false. You're in full control. And I will even tell you, with the practitioner on Saturday when I did, and it was virtual. I'll tell you now, I had a lot going on that day. It was early in the morning. I was like, I got to do this. I'm thinking to myself, I got to do that. And I'm actually thinking, they're never going to be able to hypnotize me. I'm never going to get to that real true state.
Uh-huh.
Probably not. I already made the appointment. Let's just do it. Let's see what happens. Um, and all of a sudden I realize I am going back in my mind to the first time certain situations happened. And
Mhm.
I will say that these are not visuals that I've never seen before. Like if I really thought about it right now, close my eyes, let me think back to that time when I was on the playground at elementary school. I could tell you the time, the angle of the sun. I can see it if I push my mind to it. But in my situation, I was bullied. And that was, that impacts
Sorry.
the
Mhm.
rest of your life, or can. Um,
Yeah.
and the number one thing is never feeling that you're good enough. I'm sure you would agree with that. That's like
Mhm.
one of the top things. But I saw
Yeah.
myself there, but it was like watching TV. It was like watching TV and watching myself there at that time again. And
Mhm.
it was
Yes.
like it's and I wanted to go back even further and think, was there a time that I felt that way, whatever that way is, before that, and I
Mhm.
couldn't pull it off. So I think that was a pinnacle moment. But it's like watching yourself on TV. At least that's what I experienced. Do people tell you similar stuff?
Yes, yes. And that's excellent that you're working on yourself so deeply. And so I think that's really cool that you're doing
Yeah,
that.
trying. Yeah.
Mhm.
When the opportunities come up and I'm thinking about it, why not? But hypnotherapy, and we could do we could talk forever on that. It can be so
Mhm.
beneficial in so many different areas that many of us, hey, I had hypnotherapy a year ago for forgiveness. Whoever knew that existed? I didn't until I did it,
Exactly.
right?
Absolutely.
So that's one of the many ways that you can open up to help yourself. How about something else? Something else that we can do?
Well, I think, of course, therapy itself, psychotherapy, there's so much that can help, like with healing wounds of the past, the hypnosis to do that. But there's also what's called eye movement desensitization reprocessing, EMDR. It started out with, I think, when people had been through like natural disasters, let's say an earthquake, and I think Francine Shapiro developed a technique of eye movement desensitization reprocessing, where you talk about the incident, the traumatic incident that occurred, and things have changed. But originally, that they did an eye movement thing, so you'd be talking just on this little incident, she'd be going with her fingers like a little eye, and you watch it with your eyes, because what happens with trauma, and sometimes there's tapping that would also go on, but what happens when you have trauma is that it doesn't cross into the memory banks like a normal memory would. It stays kind of in your corpus callosum between the two hemispheres. If it's kind of being reenacted, it's still vital,
Hmm.
and so this process, when you talk about and you talk about the little details of it, to um, it helps you to get it to process into the brain's memory bank so that you still remember it, but you're not feeling the emotions or having a flashback around it.
Is this what you were saying? Is that, I mean, right away, I'm thinking of hypnotherapy. Is that, a
Uh-huh.
kind of a form of it?
I'm not sure, but I mean, it is, and it feels like it is, doesn't it? But
Right.
it's a distinct type of therapy.
Hmm.
There are many types.
Sure.
I mean, is a controversial thing to say, given all of Scientology's information stuff that we hear sometimes. But even Scientology was originated to be auditing and help you go back to those times and just heal those times. And that was what it was before it became a religion and a big thing like that. But it was just basically originally. So there's all kinds of, I guess what I'm saying, of things that you can do that were healed. They used to do what was called an auditor, so you'd be the person, you'd be talking about it, and then your auditor or your helper person, your paraprofessional therapist, was getting all the things, because things get attached to that time frame. I don't know if you want to share anything or you noticed anything about what you experienced with going back to the bullying incident when you were little, like maybe small things even in the environment, like let's say that the blackboard had a red cloth on it, like, and you just since then always hated red, I don't know, I'm making stuff up, but you see what I'm saying? Like so that was to help you kind of click into how other things in your mind started to associate and get a negative tinge to them from that original traumatic experience.
I didn't even think of that. So now I'm going to think about that a little closer.
Yeah.
If there's an association with that, I will tell you, I did a timeline regression last year where it was for 5 negative emotions, and you go back with the practitioner to the first time you felt sadness, to the first time you felt anxiety. Whatever. There was five of them. You can see your mind go back when you think of it, and it's almost as if you're looking down on it. And then if you, at least this is the way it was done, if I'm not getting it, like I'm trying to remember the first time or I'm not really sure, it's almost as if you pull back like a camera in your mind, and now you look at this whole timeline to see if you can go back a little bit further. But here's the amazing part of that. I thought the practitioner had no idea what the scenarios were. I didn't have to even speak of them. It was in my mind when I first felt something. Which, for anybody that is.
Yeah, you just went right. That's the whole thing. That's called the regression. You just go right back to those points and see what's happening. And you're right there. Yeah.
But for a lot of people that may be a little uncomfortable, a little private, you just met your therapist, hypnotherapist, you might not want to say certain things. But in this situation, I didn't even need to. I didn't even have to explain, well, the first time I felt sadness was when this happened and that happened. It wasn't even that. It was just in your mind looking at it. And I might say, no, I'm not really seeing it. I think it goes back further. All right, we're going to pull out a little bit more and we're going to try and go back further. Now we're going to zoom in. It was almost as if I was operating a drone, looking down on my life and zooming in and then coming back out and then moving it over here. But yeah, fascinating. There's so much that can be done. And again, you're not giving up control or anything. Nobody can do anything to
that's your choice.
Yes. And I just want people to know that it's also you as a hypnotherapist, and you have many modalities, that being one of them. It's like you're giving the keys to the person you're working with so that they can see it in their mind. It's not like we're handing you the keys to do whatever you want, drive the car, no, it's very different than that.
Exactly. And you mentioned about the doing the hypnosis and telehealth. Well, I put mine on some CDs. I used to run a nonprofit, and I would run some groups, and we do a group hypnosis, general one, maybe for anxiety, depression, addiction, or healthy eating, sleep, or something. And so I actually have these as products that I do sell now. I just do MP3s for like 99 cents of them, and you can get them. And the beauty of it is, as you said, you're the one directing these things. And of course, I have 2 of them. One is for imbalances and dissociative disorders, so that the dissociation doesn't disrupt life. That's a second CD that we also sell as the MP3s, but you can add things to it. Like say you had got the anxiety, depression, sleep, healthy eating one, or healthy non-addictive lifestyle one, and then you said, well, I want to put in that I want to exercise. I don't want to procrastinate. So all you can do is you're laying there and you're listening to it on your own and taking, you're in this relaxed state, taking these suggestions, and you put in your own suggestion. The way you do it, though, is you want to make sure you put the suggestion and claim it as your good, as if it's occurring in the present. And like, for example, you would say, you would add for exercise, you simply add that I exercise physically every day, and I exercise my body vigorously. And after I exercise, I feel simply great. Like that would be a very positive, thing. And so you could add that and it would work just as well as if you had, had it right listening to it on from your therapist on the telehealth or on the CD or the MP3, because you can add those. Because of course, in a small thing, you can't add everything. I've had people go home and add their ones for pain reduction, for not feeling pain. Things like, if ever I'm feeling pain,
Wow.
different things they say to themselves. Or if a procrastination, you can add them kind of in, and then just kind of say them while you're in that state, and it will work just as effectively as the other suggestions.
We're out of time, but I want to, based on what you just said, I know I go so fast. Can you keep repeating certain statements over and over to rewire your mind and your thinking?
Yes. There's a good book, Louise Hay's book. I don't know if you've heard Louise Hay.
Sure.
Heal Your Life. And she has in it specific things for that mind-body interaction where certain things kind of get internalized. And so you look up what the sponsoring thought, what negative thought or you're having. And then when you have that negative thought, she has next to it what you can say as an affirmation or like a positive suggestion. So it counteracts the negative belief system that you have. And then you have the exact affirmation. So every time you have that negative belief come up or negative self-talk coming up in that specific area, you say these affirmations and they kind of dilute or erase kind of your programming by you putting.
How do we find your book?
Well, you can go right now to Amazon. The publisher, Newman Springs Publishing, is supposed to be getting it out. I've had it out as a workbook for years, so it's right there. You can get it on Amazon, but they're supposed to be going out everywhere soon. The revised, up, not just the workbook copy of it. They're very similar though, and so I'm not positive. I keep getting told it's going to be soon. And then we have a little glitch, like something wasn't, a comma wasn't in the right spot or whatever. So, and they're wonderful. So it's my fault. I'm not telling them to put the comma there. So when I'm supposed to look at it and prove stuff. But this should be coming out soon to most bookstores, and I think pretty much right now it is on my original is on Audible and it's on Kindle. Sort of EPUB and it's out there on Amazon.
And where do we find that? I know if we search it, again, the title, just to be sure for everyone.
Love Yourself, Love Your Life by A.P. Filosa, clinical psychologist.
Got it. So you can search that even on Amazon. If somebody wants to work with you as on the therapy level, with coaching, hypnotherapy, psychology, all of that, where do we find you?
Yes, you can go to psychologistinvirginia.com and it's spelled out. Psychologist is plural and it's all spelled out and Virginia is spelled out. And it has all my information on there.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
I appreciate you and your insight and your information. We'll be snacking on almonds later today. I assure you of that. And this point moving forward, because who knows that could be something beneficial in terms of cancer.
Exactly.
And it's good for you. You should be eating some
for your brain too.
And that too.
For ADHD, if people have that protein.
Right. It's also got omega-3 acids, and it's all good.
Right.
Again, thank you so much for being here, and I look forward next time we get a chance to talk.
Me too. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate you.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.